Hi, my name is Scott Gibson with Beneath the Surface. I'm here with Thom Calandra of the Calandra Report. Thanks for being with us, Tom.
Thank you, Scott, as always.
Now, you're a co-founder of CBS Market Watch back in the 90s and now writing your own publication. What can you tell us about gold and gold stocks right now?
Oh, the metals equities, as you know, it hasn't been easy. They started going south in March of 2011. And even though some people, including me, think they turned around in mid-May of 2012, it's still very difficult. We're seeing some good signs, Scott. There are some companies that have raised money, Pilot Gold. This week we saw, today we saw Hana Mining in Africa get sold. We've seen 3 or 4 one-off deals. When I was in Colombia last week, we saw Calvista sell, Calvista and Galway get sold to Ike Batista, the Brazilian investor, for well more than $1 billion total. So there's signs of life, but on the investment side, it's still tough going.
Well, signs of life. Things picked up sort of beginning of August. We had a nice run through here till the end of October, and now it looks like we're pulling back a little bit. Your thoughts on that? Do you think some tax law selling is starting to happen after a year and a half decline?
Scott, when you walk around let's say some of these exhibit floors, like the one here in New Orleans, and you meet the CEOs, the ones whose shares are suffering, and I know I own a few of them and helped put a couple of those companies together, they're afraid of what could happen in November and December because tax law selling exists in Canada and the US, probably in a lot of places. You have a stock that's going down, chances are the momentum is going to take it even lower as people throw in the proverbial towel and take the loss against any gains they might have.
Yeah, well, and they can go back 3 years in Canada anyway in terms of the gains. So go all the way back to 2010, 2009, 2011.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. But you know, the one thing I won't do, and maybe I would have done this when I was younger, but I find that the older and more seasoned I get, I hope that's not calloused, but seasoned, the more I realize that you got to be in it to win it. Now, I'm not somebody who's always flipping around these little sayings, but I've suffered whiplash in vehicle accidents and in stock market accidents. And the more painful ones are the stock market accidents, right? Because you know you have something, you hold it for 3 years, you finally throw in the towel, you sell it, and the next week it's like up like a rocket ship. That's whiplash, and I'm just not going to go there anymore. Do I get diluted down? Yes, I do. But in the end, and I know you feel the same way about this. At some point, the metals equities market will participate, and when it does, it's going to be glorious. And you need to own them already. You don't need to be going out to buy them and paying these extra premiums.
And what's your take on the gold monetary issues going forward in terms of gold stocks maybe getting hurt in the rest of the year, sort of short term, but gold itself in terms of monetary easing around the world, QE3? What's your take? I'm still saying on the record that I think gold will close above $2,000 by the end of December of this year. So, the calendar is kind of ticking here, but you see fabrication demand increasing. You see a few new uses for gold. You see not just supply drying up, but labor strikes and also governments that are turning to resource nationalism, taking back their projects all around the world. Yeah.
And when I look at these events, these geopolitical events, some of them quite scary. I have to say that gold is still the investment that will benefit because, the only brand it's all about is gold. It's not about a country's brand or a company's brand or a currency's brand. So I got to stick with it.
Yeah, no, me too as well. Big fan of gold, and gold stocks is where you get the leverage on the gold price. And we could have a phenomenal opportunity coming up here, best investment opportunity since 2008 potentially, with gold stocks being hammered because of tax law selling, and if gold starts to tick up like you're forecasting to $2,000, the value proposition there is immense.
I think so.
Yeah. Now you also mentioned countries. What countries have you visited recently?
Well, I just got back from Colombia, so they had their mining fair in Medellin. I go to Colombia 3 and sometimes 4 times a year. And my favorite companies there, of course, are Belhaven, a copper and gold, which is active in Colombia and Panama. And we helped transition that company back into a valid company. and its prospecting success has been terrific in the Middle Cauca Gold Belt. Like I said, I own probably way too many shares of that one, all bought in the open market. I love Solvista Gold. Its sister company Calvista just got bought last week. Solvista's in Colombia. Where else have I been lately? Right now, Gran Colombia Gold is interesting. It's a producer. I don't own it, but I'm looking at it. I'm starting to look more and more at producers at this phase, right? Producers in different countries.
There you go.
As you know, I was also in Turkey not long ago, like 4 or 5 weeks ago. Fascinating. One of the very few places I've never been to, and following 2 companies there, Eurasian Minerals, which is a prospect generator. Everyone knows those folks, Dave Cole, Scott Close, another Scott, they're Eurasian, and also Pilot Gold, which is the spin out from the former Frontier, which got sold to Newmont last year in Nevada. So Turkey is very interesting, hard-working people.
And you do own both those stocks in Turkey as well?
I own Pilot Gold.
Pilot Gold.
I actually do own Eurasian Minerals, a very small amount. I'm looking to buy more on weakness.
I own both of those, not the ones in Colombia, but I'm also a big fan of Colombia, own a lot of stocks in Colombia.
Yeah, I mean, let's say Colombia is having some problems right now. I mean, you're getting mixed signals about from some of the local and regional officials there. You know, they're conflicting with what the national, the new president of the country says, because you know a place like Colombia has attracted a lot of foreign investment. Its currency is one of the 5 or 6 best performing currencies in the world, and against the U.S. dollar in the last 3 to 4 years, along with Brazil. And I've been going back since I lived there in the 80s in Medellin as an English teacher, and then I started going back in 2007 to see El Marmato, and then which was controlled by Maduro, now Gran Colombia Gold, and now I'm active with 3 or 4 companies: Colombian Mines, that's CMJ, Belhaven, BHV, and Solvista Sam Victor SVV.
Well, thanks very much, Tom, for coming and talking to us a little bit about gold, where you see it going, and some of the stocks that you like right now.
Thank you, Scott. It's always a pleasure.
Again, that's Thom Calandra with the Calandra Report. My name is Scott Gibson with Beneath the Surface. Thanks for being with us.